Where did this journey start for you? I mean, were you just fired up in high school about being a future executive?
Well, if we want to roll all the way back, I guess there are some signs of the business career, probably as early as where I started a bank in elementary school. And
Started a bank in elementary school? Wait, hold on.
wait till you hear the next part. It folded in a week. I didn't understand what compound interest was. My classmates did. And when they demanded, their interest back, then I folded and I had to borrow the money from my dad. So it was a whole scheme around, using the deposits to buy baseball cards and make some great profits. But it didn't. It didn't.
Didn't turn out.
In middle school, one of my teachers did, in a parent teacher conference, asked my mom, well, what does his dad do for a living? Because he wrote this, every kid's writing about, things like wanting to be a movie producer and, an athlete. And he wrote a paper on the stock market. So what does his dad do? It turned out my dad was a small businessman. So that probably, through osmosis, you see a lot of things going on, because especially as a small business person, it's not like you leave the work at home. He probably brought it home on his phone calls. Probably the seeds were planted fairly early in my childhood. Nature or nurture, it's still an open question.
Yeah.
I started my career at Goldman Sachs right after college. And, honestly, it wasn't a great fit for me because it was all about transactions and numbers. And I didn't really connect with the idea of a transaction as a product. It didn't cut it for me. I made a pivot, very early on. I wrote a letter, a snail mail letter to the founder and CEO AOL, Steve Case, who's a very famous person in the history of the internet. And he actually opened my letter, gave it to another executive, and I got a call, and I was early to the internet, which was a big, big break for me, because getting involved in a company like AOL before there was a Google, for example, that was very meaningful. And I was hooked. I was like, I'm going to do this for the rest of my life. It's going to be about the internet-based, technology. The curiosity did play a factor because I didn't know what to expect. I didn't really know what it meant to work outside, in an industry like that. I didn't know really where the internet was going. So from that perspective, curiosity did kind of help me get going in my career. I went to, Yahoo and then Amazon, but I made the pivot to what you would call traditional companies, meaning their inception is before the age of the internet. They're probably not tech companies really, but the future of their customer experience or the business model is now profoundly affected by technology, and they need to really probably rewire a lot of the guts of the company around technology. And so I became the first chief digital officer in the history of the Fortune 500, and that was with McDonald's in 2013.